Hi everyone, welcome to Siva's EKF on Singapore's social media ban for kids. At this point, we understand that the social media ban is intended to protect kids from harm. However, I would like to pose a question: could the ban itself causes harm? Let's look what is happening now around the world on this matter. Loudly, Australia has announced a bill approved on social media ban for children under 16. The law mandates that tech giants such as Meta and TikTok must prevent minors from logging in, or face fines of up to 49.5 million Australian dollars. Similarly, many other countries have imposed restrictions on certain platforms, citing various reasons. What about Singapore? Minister of State for Digital Development and Information stated in Parliament, "We share the same objective as Australia and will continue to study the effectiveness of mandating age limits." Now, let's hear from people involved in this matter. How do they perceive this news? Firstly, from an NGO parent representative on the approved bill in Australia.
Stephanie, but you want a delay on it. Why is that?
We do, Gemma. So this is something that the Heads Up Alliance has been advocating for as long as it's been on the table. And we were really, really excited to see the legislation the draft legislation be in Parliament last week. But it's good and it's a start, and we've mulled it over since we saw it, but it's actually, we don't think it goes far enough. And so in its current form, it's not something that we support. We support lifting the minimum age of social media, but we don't think that this bill is encompassing enough to do what we want it to do.
Mothercom's colleague's experience admitted that she refused to give her son a smartphone during school days, so he ended up using a Nokia. As a result, he gained the nickname Nokia for using an outdated phone. He expressed feeling disconnected and struggled to build friendship.
Next is from two local students.
Sure, banning media might not affect everyone, but for many of us, it would be a huge mistake. For those of us who use media for learning and connecting with friends, it's a definite no. Think about it, how do we learn today? We don't wait for our teachers to show us how to make videos using apps like CapCut. We just figure it out ourselves. Even my friends share editing tips with me.
So many friends to text. My social media is gone. I want to talk to my friends.
Why cannot text via like WhatsApp or Telegram?
Some of them you have, what?
So that's where you DM other guys. So if you ban it, then how would you feel or how would you react?
Finally, a short clip from CNA's interview and a psychologist point of view.
Social media is just the reality that we live in now. It's very hard to kind of put the genie back in the bottle. So I feel like we also have to work on, raising a more media literate kind of population, because I think for young people, you're right, we shouldn't be expecting them to be able to self-regulate and know what to do all the time. But I think learning how to identify misinformation, being more critical about the comparison, for example, everyone's just presenting the best version of themselves.
Opinions on the ban are divided, with arguments on both sides. However, social media is here to stay. The genie can't be put back in the bottle. Before drawing any conclusions, should we first examine the real concerns behind these restrictions? So, what are the real benefits and drawbacks of restricting social media? Let's break it down. Without social media distractions, students can concentrate better in class, leading to improved focus and academic performance. By reducing online interactions, we also minimize the risk of cyberbullying, creating a safer and more positive experience for every student. And by blocking harmful content, we help shield young minds from extremist ideas, misinformation, and unsafe online activities. With these measures in place, students can thrive in an environment that nurtures learning, safety, and well-being. A space where they can truly focus on what matters. And that is a peace of mind for everyone. Firstly, data suggests this could increase loneliness and mental health issues. Social media helps introverted students or those with social anxiety stay connected. Fear of missing out. Without social media, students may feel excluded from trends, news, and social discussions. Identity development. Young people explore their interests and shape their identity online. A ban could slow this process. Secondly, it could result in a less engaging learning experience. Platforms like YouTube, online discussions, and virtual study groups enhance learning. Removing these tools might make studying less interactive. Thirdly, it may lead to a lack of digital literacy and critical thinking skills. Banning social media limits students' ability to fact-check, think critically, and use the internet responsibly. Lastly, there would be restricted access to educational resources. Many students use social media for study groups, tutorials, and networking. A ban would cut them off from these valuable learning opportunities. Next, let's look at data. A survey by CNA reported on how Singaporean teens spend hours daily on screens. The data suggests they balance studying, entertainment, networking, fitness, and shopping. However, the key question is, what about those who fall outside this balance? A mega survey by Maple Tree highlights some fascinating trends. In Singapore, YouTube, WhatsApp, Facebook, and TikTok are the dominant social media platforms, with TikTok leading the charge among younger audiences. We're seeing a clear shift toward interactive, live, and creator-driven content. Teens, in particular, are flocking to platforms like TikTok and Instagram for fast-paced, entertaining content. The change in behavior and usage of these platforms is something we really need to think about. Well, let's look at something basic, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs overlapping on social media. Miller's analysis of Maslow's hierarchy of needs in relation to social media states, social media can fulfill psychological and esteem needs, but it does not replace essential survival and safety needs. Over-reliance on social media for validation can have drawbacks. A balanced approach is crucial. Before considering a ban, what was Singapore's strategy? The MOE EdTech Master. By 2030, a stronger focus on digital literacy and technological skills to help students thrive. MOE defines digital literacy as a set of knowledge, skills, and attitudes that help learners become confident, critical, and responsible users of digital technologies. The find, think, apply, create. This framework aims to teach responsible and ethical digital tool usage, without resorting to bans. As technology evolves quickly, the ongoing cat and mouse game, where authorities try to block social media and citizens find ways to bypass those restrictions, is likely to persist and grow as the internet's reach continues to expand. Sharon Horwood, a psychology researcher at Deakin University in Melbourne and the Australian Research Centre for the Digital Child, argues that merely banning young individuals from social media is not a viable solution. Instead, she advocates for a broader social and cultural shift in attitudes towards online engagement. So, instead of banning social media, a collaborative approach is needed. Key stakeholders, parents, schools, media, and policymakers should work together to find a balance. Schools can allow controlled social media use for learning while setting clear rules to prevent distractions. Good example is current MOE personal learning device management. Educate parents. Schools can run workshops to help parents, such as Telegram chat groups. Strengthen online safety regulations like recent Singapore's new code, app stores to block children under 12 from. Kid-friendly social media with age restriction, such as Snap Junior or Junior Talk, could be a viable solution. In conclusion, we need to teach students how to balance their social and academic lives. We should address cyberbullying, how to overcome it, and guide them on what constitutes harmful content. I agree that age is a crucial factor in deciding how and when to introduce social media. Educators and psychologists should be involved in policymaking to ensure a balanced approach are met for the students. Thank you for your time in reviewing this EKF.